Renewable energy is basically any type of energy that once used can still be reused and it doesn't deplete, unlike others. For instance, if we take forms of energy like the thermal energy and others, the fuel which is used to power the electric generators and others, they are depleted once it is used. But if you take something like renewable, when you take wind, we will always have wind. If it's water, once the lakes are not dried, we will always have it.
A lot of policies have been put out there, a lot of paperwork has been done. Now it's left with the implementation stage. I think we should move from the normal conference here, conference there, policy analysis and all that. It's high time. We all know Ghana is good for that. We all know our big men are good for that. They are all talk and no action. I mean, we have only 13 years to achieve the set target that have been set for us. And as of now, we are even at 0.9 something, and nothing is being done. We've not even seen anything. It's actually the private companies who are pushing the solar or the renewable energy policies out there, and government is not doing anything. We need to see government doing something. We need to move from being in the room and planning and implement something. I mean, it's past the planning stage. Other countries have implemented it. There's nothing for us to say we are now going to do a test run in this and that. We just need to watch what they are doing, adapt it, and implement to suit us, because we are different from them and their climate is different. So the things that they use will be different from us. But we need implementation. We don't need the paperwork anymore. We are gone past that. It's time for government to actually implement the policies that they've come up with.
I think the SDGs on 7, we can achieve it, but it all boils down to the fact that the leaders who have made these promises and these laws or policies, they have to speed up their implementation phases of the activities that they say they're going to do in their nationally determined contributions. So, for instance, Ghana, we are much more looking at cleaner energy, using solar, using wind, using biogas, any form of renewable energy that we can use to generate sustainable power. But at the end of the day, we are looking at the fact that, I mean, these policies are good in it, on paper, all right, but the implementation has always been a problem. We have seen Ghana having stand up to so many policies and, I mean, protocols, but when it gets to the implementation of these, it's always a problem. And one critical constraint to that has been the funding. I mean, we're listening to some stakeholders who are saying that they have projects with the government, and when it comes to the funding aspect, it's a problem, because even though on paper the funding has been provided, but when it gets to the release of the funds, there's always a problem. So, I mean, we need to do more as far as the allocation of these funds to the appropriate programs are concerned. So that is very critical if we want to achieve the SDGs on 7.
Okay, so we have all the document in terms of programming, in terms of where we want to, what we want to do. And so what matters most is the resource injection to ensure that the various projects and programs that are enshrined in our various policies and implementation documents are responded to in a no small way. And so if Ghana want to make hay when the sun shines, then what the government is supposed to do is that we have, for instance, 10 regions. All the regions come with their energy needs. So when we prioritize all, if we box them together, then we are not going to make any headway. But if we assess the regional needs of each community and whatnot, we have sun and heat elements in abundance. And so if we prioritize our projects well and make sure that we start it one after the other, then we are in a way making inroads. But where we daydream and then we mention figures often, and then they will rest and then do nothing, then we have nothing to do. And looking at the fact that 2030, Agenda 2030 is just staring right in the face, this is a wake-up call. If we sit down, we will be there, and in no time, 2030 is here, and we have nothing to show as far as the international community and the ratification of all sorts of international instruments are concerned. So I think Ghana, I don't have to be a prophet or doom. It takes the power of the people, government commitment, and then resource to get far. Yes, we can.
I think it is possible. There is nothing impossible. We are in 2017. We have clear 13 years ahead of us too. implement or to fulfill that thing. It just takes that courage and moral effort and that consensus effort from the part of the government, because most of the time situations like this or things like this, it is the government who can actually champion the cause. We need strong laws that will punish people who want to go wayward, especially when we have set laws or lay down procedures when it comes to renewable energy. And if the government is able to subsidize and make renewable energy so affordable, I don't think we have any problem where people would be forced to or have to resort to other form of energy because it is expensive or anything. But so I think basically Ghana can achieve it if we put in the right mechanism and then we put in the right approach. It is achievable.
It's actually broadened my idea, or the ideas I already have concerning issues relating to renewable energy and climate change. And as an organization itself, CAFAF, we over the years we've conducted a series of workshops with dealing with issues of climate change, and in partnership with 350 GROC, hope that this workshop can continue, so that we continue to have more things to talk about relating to the climate change.
I think it was good to be here today because I've learned a lot about renewable energy, and then I think everybody should join forces with us so that we can champion this worthy cause. Thank you.
I learned a lot about solar energy and a lot about renewable energy. And I feel like communities and towns should take up projects in order to use this renewable energy, because even though it's expensive, it saves a lot of money in the near future.
I think it's a very laudable one. It's something that needs to be done everywhere. People need to be educated. People need to be made aware of the current climate change. I mean, people talk about climate change as if it's something that's a myth, but it's not a myth. It's actually happening. It's something that we need to actually take up. And as an individual, you also need to be responsible for the environment that you are in. You can't just be doing anything to damage the environment and expect government to do everything. We need to do things by ourselves. Change starts within us. If we cause change will happen. We can't just sit down and say we want change, but we the individuals are not ready to change. We need to change ourselves, and that's what's going to impact on the government to actually do things that they are supposed to do.
And I think it's an insightful program. It's my first time on any platform like this. I've not attended anything on energy before, so I have learned a lot today, and I think it shouldn't be just today. We should continue so that people can be educated, and then those of us who are present here should make sure we take this out there and also make people aware of what is going on.
I'm impressed about everything that was discussed here, and I'm so much happy to be part of this program. And I think if our leaders should take this thing up, it will really help us, because we the young ones, we are interested, and with our full power we all join in making this thing work for the whole Ghana.
I find this conference to be very informative, and it has really enlightened us on me personally on renewable energies, how I can personally use it for my benefit, and encourage others to also go and venture into renewables. I've learned on the subject that we can do both electricity and renewable to reduce our costs from ECG. And then if we want to start building, we have to get the expertise in renewables to give us the best advice on how we can build without relying on doomsday, so that we can have the best from renewables.
Today's conference or workshop has been a success, because since we started the project, today is one of the days that we've been able to build capacity, and looking at our allies and the stakeholders that were invited, all of them turn up, and we even had full capacity. So I believe that this project has already started its next phase, and more hands are going to come so that we do the work well.
4 years now, Ghana has been faced with a lot of energy crisis, to the extent that we now have a common name we call DUMSO to reflect the nature of our energy crisis. Governments over the period have tried various actions, various measures to address the situation, but it's getting no better. We think that we need a lot of energy. Our over-dependence on hydro is not helping us a lot. So that is where we are at the moment. We have a lot of energy deficits, both for communities and also for the industries. So there will be different alternatives, different options or different suggestions. Some thought coal would do, which we strongly kicked against. But we believe that renewable energy is the better way or a better option as compared to coal. We think that if the whole nation should rally and come together to focus on renewable energy, which we have in abundance, i.e. the sun, i.e. wind, hydro, thermal, and all those resources are available for our use. So we believe that if you're able to invest heavily in that and show commitment from government and citizens, we'll be in a better position to address our energy crisis and even have enough even to export if possible. So